Here's the problem with drinking, having that little bump. I think it wants to bump back right now. So excuse me now. I'm gonna try not to bump into the microphone. I'll try to turn my head and like bump to the side. Now, children, today in Looking for God in All the Wrong Places, we are going to talk about Until the End of the World. That's right. It's a song by U2. Now, U2 has so many songs about religion and faith that there are parts of whatever fucking country they come from. I think it's Ireland. They have these things called Eucharists. Okay, they're like little sermons based on U2 songs. I did not find out about that until I decided to do this song and I was doing my research. Okay. Now, what most people do not realize about this particular U2 song is that it's Judas. It's the song is about Judas and Jesus. And in fact, it's Judas singing to Jesus. That's right. And when you hear the Bono voice, he's actually playing the part of Judas singing to Jesus. Now, this U2's idea, this is U2's idea of what Judas was dealing with. Remember, not everyone thought of Judas as a betrayer. There are schools of thought that Judas was actually something of a revealer. That's what he was trying to do. That Judas was a true believer and not a betrayer. And that Judas thought if Jesus were pushed hard enough, he would reveal his true God nature. That's a different school of thought. And and then that's part of the why he was so upset. And let's say some people say he killed himself, some people say he fell. When I say people, I mean in the accounts of the Gospels. Two Gospels say he hung himself, one Gospel says he fell. And then there's these people who say, well, why not both? Why not he hung himself in the desert and then his body got rotted and bloated and then fell from the rope. And then he fell and exploded. Because that's the other thing. They say when he fell, he exploded. Now, true, if your body's already decaying and you fall, you can explode. All that gassy stuff in there. I was not there. I cannot say. I'm just talking about schools of thought. Okay. Now it's possible. If you go by the school of thought that Judas was mainly just trying to get Jesus to expose himself, you can look at it like the Superman movie with Christopher Reeves, where, what was her name, Margot Kidder, the Lois Lane character, kept putting herself in danger because she was convinced that Clark Kent was Superman, and if she would put herself in danger, Clark Kent would have to reveal his inner Superman, and save her. And she kept like jumping out of windows and jumping into rivers and jumping off to Niagara Falls and just kept doing shit. And Superman was going like, bitch ain't gonna trip me up like that. I will use my X-ray vision and break a branch and hopefully she'll swim and grab onto it. Well, I will use my X-ray vision and all of a sudden I'll break the ropes and this awning will fall out and break her fall. But I'm not going to change just for her. I'm not doing it. You can't make me do it. And I think Jesus, if you maintain that Jesus had a God nature, it was like the same thing. It's like, hey, I'm not coming down from the cross. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Okay. So now I've laid the groundwork. This is the opening verse. I can't tell you about the music. I don't want to get any copyright strikes. Not yet. But the song, the lyrics starts off like this. Haven't seen you in quite a while. I was down the hold, just passing time. Now, those are the first two lines. Now, so it's apparent that Judas, remember Judas is talking to Jesus. So it says, I haven't seen you in quite a while. So he's like, Jesus, it's been a bit. And said, I was down the hold, passing time. Now, down the hold. Okay, that has a couple of different meanings, but the most prevalent one is a secure place, or a prison, which is secure. A prison is supposed to be a secure place, unless you're like Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, but other than that, a prison is a secure place. Or if you're like a black person in custody, it's not. Well, it's supposed to be a secure place. So I was down the hole just passing time. So he was at now the hole also could be just a place where they went to be together out of everybody's sight, where they could just be the apostles and not be like fans of everybody. It's like, Jesus, heal me. Paul, not Paul, there was no fucking Paul. Peter, save me. Thomas, touch me. There's like, okay, there's too many people. Let's go to our little safe place, okay, and go there. He does not say what the hold is, but apparently Jesus knows, because he just says, I was down the hole just passing time. Like Jesus knows where the hold is. Okay. We just don't. Continues. Last time we met was a low-lit room where we were as close together as bride and groom. Okay, now, the significance of that is twofold. First of all, the last time, a low-lit room, that would have been the Last Supper, okay? And if you look at that as being the last time he saw them, now this is where is now. We know that he's betraying him with a kiss, because after the Last Supper, the next time you see Judas and Jesus together is when Judas betrays him with a kiss. So now we know where the first two lines is taking place, because he's established a timeline. Last time we met was a low-lit room. We were as close together as bride and groom. Okay. Now, the other thing is that in Christianity, and as a matter of fact, in the Old and New Testament, quite often the relationship between God and man and Christ and man is compared to a bride and groom. We examined that in the piece by Urban Poet Society, Volatile Cocktail. Again, in that song, the relationship between the author of Volatile Cocktail and God is bride and groom. Okay. So he said, and now we know that according to theology, the groom would be God or Christ, depending on the relationship, depending on who you're married to. And the bride is the church. Okay. Now, Judas continues, we ate the food, we drank the wine, everybody had a good time, except you. You were talking about the end of the world. Okay. Now everybody's been to a party when people is just having a good time, they're drinking and eating, and then there's this one person who's like, it's all going in, party's going in, and it's daylight savings time. Remember, because this was in the spring. We're going to lose an hour. Party's not going to last as long as usual. We're going to lose an hour. And so it's like, oh man, shut up. Have some food, have some wine, have a good time. Why you got to talk about the end of the world? And not only that, and according to scripture, Jesus is when he says, like, hey, like Peter, you're gonna turn your back on me 3 times. You're gonna deny me 3 times. One of you is gonna betray me. You know who it is. I don't have to tell you. One of you is gonna betray me. So Jesus being like a little bummer, and Mary Magdalene is saying things like, hey, Jesus, why don't I just take you back home and make you feel like the savior you are? And he's like, nah, not tonight. I can't. I'm bummed out. I'm thinking about the end of the world. And Mary Magdalene is saying things like, I can give you a happy ending if that's what you want. But no, that's all in the Bible. It's all there. So we know in the first verse what's going on here. He just betrayed him, or he's about to kiss him. He hasn't kissed him yet. He's like, hey, Jesus, what's up? Haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, I was back at the hold, but he hasn't kissed him yet. Now he continues, I took the money, I spiked your drink. Okay, now, all right, Judas is like kind of confessing here. He says, I took the money. Okay, like, okay, yeah, they paid me. Those guys back there. Now, spiked your drink. That's going to be a little bit harder for me to figure out because remember when they were at the Last Supper, Jesus did this little thing with the food and the wine, and he goes, drink this. This is my blood. Spilling it out for you peoples, and eat this. This is my body, and I'm going to body it up for you, or something like that. Jesus, the body of Nazareth, or something like that. Can't remember. But at any rate, Jesus, there is a school of thought that says Jesus did not drink from the same cup, because that'd be like cannibalism. He didn't eat once he consecrated it, he didn't eat the bread or drink the wine himself. That's one school of thought, and they have some scripture to back them up. And then there's other scripture that says, no, well, there was 4 different cups he was drinking from that night. And he didn't drink from the 4th cup. He drank from the first 3. And again, you have to be a real Bible nerd to get into that shit. I'm not a Bible nerd. I know I look like one. It's the glasses. But that's a totally different discussion. Now, I'm going to try to keep this onto YouTube and what their viewpoint is, and not go too far astray into the theology and the book, because apparently Bono didn't. Like I said, this is his interpolation. He probably sat through a lot of Catholic school stuff, and this is what he took away from it. All right, next line. You miss too much these days if you stop to think. Okay, spike your drink, stop to think. See, sometimes these things, they just have to rhyme them. Okay, so you miss too much these days if you stop to think. You led me on with those innocent eyes. Okay, now it sounds like, okay, first of all, you miss too much these days if you stop to think. There's a difference between thinking and faith. Okay, so if you think, then you're not truly having faith. You're examining stuff. So it's like, well, if you think too much, okay, so I'm not going to think about this. I'm just going to have faith in you. I'm just going to have faith in you. And it says, you led me on with those innocent eyes. Like somewhere in there, I looked into the eyes, the window to the soul, and I saw something that made me just believe in you. Okay, you didn't tell me to believe in you. I just believed in you. Okay. And then the next line is, I love the element of surprise. So, surprise, garden. In the garden, I was playing the tart. Okay. I kissed your lips and broke your heart. And you were acting like it was the end of the world. Like, man, this is not going to be the first time people are going to betray you. Don't take it personally. Man, this is not going to be the first time you die. Don't worry about it, okay? This is not the end of the world. You're only being crucified. It's not the end of the world. Stop being so serious. But is it the end if he can come back? See, that's the question. That's what Judas is saying. Now, Judas, like I said, Judas is saying it's not the end of the world because Judas is convinced that once Jesus is up there and the pain starts and the mocking starts, that Jesus is going to say, like, okay, I'm done with this shit. You fuck with the wrong guy. Yes, indeed. I'm tell you right now, you got something coming right now. You got something coming. And Jesus is just going to look out there and say, guys, you fucked up. See, this is what Judas was expecting. Judas was expecting for Jesus to say, okay, you guys, you fucked up. You put the wrong person on the cross now. Oh, yeah, I got an army. I got a whole fucking army back there behind me, yeah. Hey, Peter, Peter, don't turn your back on me, motherfucker. That's all right. No, it's okay. Peter's not the only friend I got. Hey, Judas. Judas. What the fuck? And that's what Judas was expecting. Judas was expecting Jesus to get mad and come off the cross. So to Judas, it wasn't the end of the world because he wasn't going anywhere. Jesus wasn't going nowhere. It's not the end of the world. Stop acting like it's the end of the world. You're going to come off of that cross and you're going to like save us all. Stop it. Because don't forget or learn if you haven't learned so you can forget. Back then, messiahs were a dime a dozen, okay? You could not swing a dead Hebrew without hitting a messiah, okay? You couldn't. They were all over the place. I mean, everybody was claiming to be a messiah. But according to Jewish tradition, the messiah was actually more like a general who was going to lead the Jews from the oppression of the Romans. And they were going to do like the Old Testament days. We're going to fuck shit up. That's what they were expecting from the Messiah. And so when it was his turn to audition for Messiah, everybody's expecting him to go, all right, he's going to lead us to out of the Roman oppression. The problem is every Messiah that came along before Jesus, or every person that the Jews thought was a Messiah that came along before Jesus, those people got removed. They got expedited. Oh, they got deported, beheaded, hung, stabbed. There was one gentleman. His name was Simon. I'm almost positive his name was Simon. I think it was Simon of Barrera. I could be wrong because I'm just realizing I needed that information and I should have looked it up. You can check it out. When everybody thought that he was the Messiah, and the Romans caught up with his ass in a battle, they dismembered his body. They left no trace behind because they didn't want people going, finding his body and going, he's back and stuff like that. They just said, no, we're getting rid of it. No evidence. The only reason why you know it's here is because of blood spatter on the rocks. That's it. And we're all taking home souvenir fingers and nails and teeth. That's it. Only reason why you know he's around. And so when Jesus auditioned for Messiah, he had a different approach. He's like, hey, I'm not going to fight the Romans. No, I'm not a threat to the Romans. I'm not going to fight. No, I'm talking about a different kingdom, a kingdom in heaven. Who can argue with that? See? But Judas was not like that. Judas was old school. He's like, I want my kingdom now. I want my kingdom now. I don't want to wait. Now, the next line must be really important because it goes like this. Love, 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 love. And I think that's exactly how they said it. And then they used auto-tune to fix it in the record. So like love, 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 love. Then it continues. In my dream, again, this is Judas. Okay. In my dream, I was drowning sorrows. Now, assuming that the dream, he's sleeping. Now, when I drown my sorrows, I'm awake. And I use Stella Rosa green apple sparkling wine when I drown my sorrows. But I'm awake for that. He says, in my dream, I was drowning sorrows. When my sorrows, they learned to swim. So the sorrows are like, I'm not going to be drowned. Okay. He's trying to push his sorrows down and kill them. It's like, no, I'm drowning you. And the sorrows are going like, no, I'm going to swim. Okay. And they're like little floaters. He flushes his sorrows and they go like, nope, we're going to be right here on top. And you flush them again and your sorrows look like they're going away, but then they come right back and they float. They're like little floaters. His sorrows would not be quieted. They would not be drowned. No. And then more love, 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 love. Okay. It continues, surrounding me, going down on me, spilling over the brim. Okay. And at this point, it sounds as though it's reached its limits. The sorrows have just, like I said, it's just taken over. Okay. He can't suppress them like he thought he could. And it's just welling up and they're taking over and just spilling over the brim. Now the brim is the top. Whatever the top is for Judas, it's over there. Can't take any more. Okay. That's it. I'm done. And part of it could be, again, Judas was expecting Jesus to come off the cross. And Judas like, oh shit, he didn't. Damn it, he died. Did I just have a guy killed who couldn't save himself? Fuck, that's messed up. And it's my fault because I believed him. So I just turned him in. I told, oh man, I feel bad. Because I thought he was coming off the cross. I did. I didn't think he was going to stay there. And I was like, oh, come on. It's like watching Harry Houdini, inside of a chest or something. And and Harry Houdini escapes every time. And everybody's going like, oh, Harry's just having fun. It's just an extra 10 seconds. He'll be fine. It's 30 seconds. Just an extra 30 seconds. He'll be fine. Oh, shit. Somebody better get an axe and break that glass. I don't think he's coming out. That's blue. That's definitely blue. He's turning blue. Somebody get his ass out of there. Then he dies from his appendix ruptures or some shit. And that's what Judas was thinking. That Jesus was kind of like do a little Harry Houdini. He's like, okay, guys, ta-da! Thank you. I'll be here all week. Tip your wait staff. Thank you. That's what Judas was expecting. When that didn't happen, he got the sorrows. And it says right here, the next line, waves of regret and waves of joy. I reached out for the one I tried to destroy. Okay. Waves of regret. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry I did that. Waves of joy. But I made 30 pieces of silver in the process. And I felt so bad. But, and I reached out for the one I tried to destroy. And he says that I tried to destroy. Okay. Again, it's a matter of opinion. Whether Judas was actually trying to destroy Jesus, like maybe. See, again, some schools of thought, some people believe that Judas felt betrayed by Jesus. He finding out that Jesus was not the Son of God, and that Judas thought he was going to be. And so Judas felt betrayed, and not Jesus betraying Judas, but not Judas betraying Jesus, but Jesus betrayed Judas because Judas believed Jesus was the Son of God. Okay. Again, different schools of thought. I'm not telling you which school of thought is right. I'm just here to have a conversation. That's it. A one-sided conversation where I talk to you and you listen, and then you talk back through the little emoji things. So that's how we do things around here with little emoji things. So waves of regret and waves of joy. I reached out for the one I tried to destroy. That's right. Now, there's two, again, I think I mentioned this earlier. Sometimes my mouth slips out of gear and I don't know where it closed off to. But again, there's two schools of thought, whether or not Jesus hung himself or if he fell to his death and exploded. Okay. I believe that there's three different accounts in the four gospels. There's three different accounts. Two accounts say that Judas took money from the Pharisees to turn Jesus in, 30 pieces of silver, and then he got upset, regretful, and hung himself. And the place, I forgot the name of the place where Judas hung himself or died. But one school of thought says that after Judas hung himself and the money was fell on the ground or cast onto the ground, the Pharisees could not take the money back because it was blood money. So they used the money to buy the ground where Jesus is buried. Okay. The other school of thought is that Judas, before killing himself, bought the land himself and threw himself onto the ground and exploded. I said there's another school of thought that says he hung himself, his body got bloated, the rope broke or whatever, rotted, the tree branch broke, and then bam, his bloated body falls and explodes. Now, so it says again right here, I reached out for the one I tried to destroy. You said you'd wait to the end of the world. Now, I couldn't find where Jesus said to Judas, I'll wait for you to the end of the world. Oh, you know how some relationships are, that one person hears one thing, the other person didn't say. It's like, you said you stay with me forever. It's like, no, I think I said I'd stay with you through the evening, and it'll feel like forever. But it's not really forever. It feels like forever. It was only 4 inches. That's what I was saying. See, and that's so sometimes people hear things that were not actually said, but they believe it in their hearts. And so whether Jesus actually promised Judas he'd wait for him to the end of the world, don't know, don't care, not my business. But according to the Bono people, yeah, so it was. So I thank you for indulging me while we take a look at the YouTube. When I repost this segment, I will, if I remember, I'll attach a link to the actual song so that you can like follow along or listen to it. Maybe you've never heard it before, or maybe you've heard it and now you want to hear it and realize, oh, that's Judas talking to Jesus, and hear it a little differently. We'll see what happens.